Hello, and thank you for joining for today's session, Embracing Multimedia Approaches. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of land and sea across Australia and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I'm meeting on the lands of the Wurundjeri people here in Melbourne. I'd also like to extend a very warm welcome to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people that are joining us for today's session. My name is Dale Park, and with my colleague Lisa Dean, we work under the banner of the Eastern Sector Development Team in Victoria. As regional advisors for diversity and wellness, we support the implementation of inclusive, person-centred aged care practice. Our work is built on the principles of equity and person-centred care. We strongly advocate for responsive diversity, wellness, and reablement approaches that focus on the strengths and abilities of older people. So today's session is all about embracing multimedia. So why should you do that? Well, let me ask you these questions. Who wants to spend more time reading emails and documents? Who wants to attend training that isn't flexible or paced at your own speed? Who wants presentations that are text heavy and monotone? And who has time to spare and doesn't need to multitask? Now, I would say very few of us would put our hands up to answer yes for those questions. We all have many competing priorities, and more so now than ever, we have to work smarter, be flexible, and look for opportunities to provide support and education in new and different ways. Throughout this presentation, we will demonstrate how we have used multimedia approaches to provide flexible and engaging education. We'll also show how it can be a tool to help influence the way services are delivered, and how it can provide a voice to older people and ultimately achieve better outcomes for older people. How we access and process information is constantly evolving. We need to see this evolution as an opportunity. By using a variety of multimedia approaches including videos, webinars, podcasts, and animations, you can create and tailor messages and connect in ways that previously wasn't possible. We can also bring older people with us on this journey, break down the barriers and fears around using technology, and actually challenge the ageist views that older people can't use technology or aren't interested. This is a picture of my then 80-year-old grandmother who filmed my entire wedding from start to finish, to professional standards, I might add. Now, she was completely self-taught. She hadn't picked up a camera until she was in her 40s. She had left school at 13, and even today at 87 is most excited about purchasing new cameras, watching YouTube tutorials, and learning about technology. We have seen that throughout the pandemic, older people have had to engage and use technology in order to stay connected or even just function within society. So bringing older people with us on this journey of embracing multimedia is a really positive thing that we should and can do. Over the last 5 years, the Eastern Sector Development Team have significantly expanded our use of different types of media and communication approaches. It all began with our Connecting the Pieces resource, which articulates the interconnected relationship between diversity and person-centered care. This video playing is our Connecting the Pieces video, and the success of this resource was not only the content, but the imagery brought the messages to life and made the topic engaging, interesting, and visual. So many people are visual learners, but we don't often account for that. By embracing multimedia approaches, we can educate, inform, influence, and improve engagement. And ultimately, we should also be able to build people's capacity through our training and education. I'm now going to highlight the different multimedia approaches that we've used and encourage you to think about how you could engage with these types of mediums. The first one I want to talk about is personal stories, and we all know that personal stories make great case studies and can demonstrate the outcomes of a particular service or intervention. Being able to demonstrate outcomes for clients is so important. It's what the entire aged care quality standards is built around. So having client experiences and outcomes captured is not only a great resource for the evidence you need to provide around your aged care quality standards, but it should also help you attract people to your service. But most importantly, it provides a voice to older people. Too often, older people are spoken for or spoken to. But if we're creating videos and case studies and speaking directly to older people, we're seeing them, we're amplifying their voice, and we're allowing them to tell us who they are and tell us their story. I would say the majority of us would much rather watch a 3 to 5 minute video than read a 2-page document. I'm now going to show a few excerpts from some case studies that we developed with Uniting East Burwood.
I'm coming to the centre because I love it here. The people are tremendous and you need variety of meeting people.
It's a very friendly group of people and I enjoy meeting them and talking with them.
Oh, it's nice because you go out from your house and you see people, different people and different customers, different how you dress up or they say compliment to you. It's nice to hear all this stuff.
I think the aim of the program overall is just to keep people socially connected. I think we try to bring out the best in everyone. We try to go back to their own skills, their previous skills. We try to find out what makes them feel good, including them in all the planning. We feel that obviously if they're comfortable with what we're suggesting we're going to do for the program, it's going to bring out the best in them.
We are still vibrant, active seniors. Seniors with zest. Seniors who do things that we want, not the things that we have to.
After developing the Connecting the Pieces animation, we saw an opportunity to use animation technology to develop case studies, training materials, and as a way to tell stories that were really visual. Animations allow you to create a story when maybe you don't have the real footage available, or you might be working remotely, or working with people who aren't comfortable being directly on camera. These are some excerpts from different animations that I've created, and I'll now play a selection of these case studies that were created to demonstrate the approach that social support providers took in responding to COVID.
The biggest thing we've done is put a newsletter together every week. With our newsletter, it's become almost a care package now. So we put it together, we have a little craft that's easy to do with step-by-step instructions. We have crosswords. From the first newsletter to now, each week now they're discussing the newsletter with us. Oh, can you give a shout out to this person who I usually sit next to?
We've had to really push ourselves and push our comfort zones to jump into some new technologies, and I would love for us to take those technologies further. Could we do some webinars where one of my staff's doing chair-based exercises and everyone's following along? Will we make a whole lot of resources and put them on YouTube and advertise our YouTube channel to people who are isolated at home?
The next area that I wanted to highlight was online education. And just like everyone else, our jobs were impacted greatly by lockdown and working from home. We knew that there was still a need for education on diversity, wellness and reablement, but we weren't able to do it in the traditional way of going out and meeting with people and having face-to-face conversations. So we developed a number of webinars across a range of topics and put them up on our website. They're free to access, great as part of an induction, refresher, or further education. In terms of creating them, we developed the presentation full of case studies, animations, and reflective questions. We ran them as live webinars through Zoom, and then recorded the session and made that available to people through our website and YouTube channel. Now, while it can't replace face-to-face education, there will always be a need for this type of format. People were able to have ongoing education and do it in a way and in a time that was suitable for them. I'll now play a few excerpts from our online education that's all available on our website at esdt.com.au.
So to ensure the best possible experience for people, wellness and diversity needs to be considered across the continuum of care, from the first point of access to assessment, planning and service delivery.
Crenshaw coined the term to describe how people's multiple and intersecting identities relate to systems and structures of oppression, discrimination, power and control.
Good care planning takes a lot of practice. So there are a couple of ways you can understand whether or not you're documenting the right information. So the first way is to think about, if you were a new worker and you were coming in and picked up a care plan, and the first thing you had to do was conduct a review with that particular client. Does the information in the care plan provide you with enough information to initiate that conversation? But as well as potentially negative characteristics, risk-taking can have positive benefits for individuals, so for us, and also for the community. So what I would like you to do is to take a moment, and I'd like you to think about what are some of the potential benefits of taking risks. What has actually changed in the lives of individuals as a result of our program? Has our program made a difference? And how are the lives of people better as a result of our program?
Aziza attends a local social support group. Bree learnt that Aziza was an entrepreneur, having owned several small businesses, and enjoys music and singing. Bree and the other staff learnt some basic words and phrases in Arabic. They learnt how to tie a hijab, as Aziza had lost these skills, and they created a space where she could pray while she attended the group.
So that was some excerpts of our online education that we've developed, and I should note that that final video that was shown, addressing diversity and wellness within the aged care quality standards, was developed by the Victorian Diversity Advisors and is hosted on our website. The final area that I wanted to discuss was podcasts. We all know how popular podcasts have been. I would be very surprised if the majority of people listening don't listen or haven't listened to podcasts. For the last year, we've been creating our own podcast, Connecting the Pieces. We've been conducting interviews with service providers and hosting discussions about diversity, wellness and reablement approaches within aged care. Podcasts are a fantastic opportunity to talk about issues, discuss ideas, and give your staff and volunteers further education. The beauty of podcasts is that they can be listened to pretty much anywhere, so they have so much flexibility. They can be listened to while you're out exercising, in the car, doing the shopping, or even at your desk. This flexibility and the format for a more conversational approach to issues can be really beneficial and ensure that key messages and learnings are continually discussed. Our podcast is available either through our website, or you can download it and listen to it on your phone or your tablet via the Apple Podcast or Spotify apps. I'll now play a few excerpts from our podcast so you can get a taste of the types of discussions and topics that we cover.
You've obviously talked about how wellness is a component of reablement. So what would be the difference
The key difference is really about the length of service. So reablement incorporates everything that a wellness approach incorporates. The difference is that it involves time-limited intervention to meet a specific goal. Another sort of misunderstood idea is that people can't access services because of their diversity, or that people are hard to reach or disadvantaged because of their diversity. What would your response be to those who think that this might actually be the case?
Labelling a group as hard to reach is the first step in making it a reality. The individual or the group aren't hard to reach. We as the service provider don't know how to reach them. We don't know how to make them feel safe or that they belong. So because we haven't been able to engage with them, we place the blame or we place the label of hard to reach on that group.
I wanted to end with a little about feedback. It's so important to get feedback on the work that you do, and we've been really blown away and humbled by the feedback that we've received. Aged care providers have responded really positively to our approaches. The creativity and the flexibility that the resources offer has really connected with what the sector was wanting and needing. In terms of some of the results, our YouTube channels had over 7,500 views, with 3,000 views alone coming from the Connecting the Pieces video. Our online education has had over 1,500 views, and our Connecting the Pieces podcast has been downloaded over 1,500 times. So as you can see, there is a need and a want for different mediums and different communication approaches. We really encourage you to take advantage of the resources that we've developed, but also think about how multimedia approaches can support the work that you're doing. Please feel free to reach out and contact us, and thank you for being part of the presentation today.